Task switching steals chunks of your day. Being busy isn't the same as getting the right things done. If you're juggling work, family, and a never-ending to-do list, time blocking is a straightforward way to carve out real focus without turning your life into a rigid prison schedule. In the next few minutes, first I'll show you a step-by-step method you can use tomorrow. Pick 3 daily priorities, slot them into your calendar as non-negotiable blocks, and protect them with simple habits. For example, try 9:0, 11:0 for deep work, 12:30, 1:0 for quick meetings and email triage, and 7:0, 8:0 for planning or family admin. Put those on your calendar as busy, turn on Do Not Disturb, and run either 50/10 focus cycles or classic 25/5 Pomodoros, whichever actually fits your attention span. Build a 7-day template. Add 15, 30-minute buffers between blocks so overruns don't cascade, and schedule one short end-of-day review to move unfinished items into tomorrow's blocks. If you're a parent, schedule a predictable kid time block. If you do shift work, mirror this approach around your waking hours. Think of blocks like small fences around your attention. The cat might still jump in, but it's a lot easier to shoo it out. No perfection needed. Small, consistent blocks beat heroic all-nighters. Stay with me for a quick demo, where first make a weekly template you can copy into your calendar and 2 tiny tweaks for busy parents and night shift workers, so you can actually start getting things done tomorrow. What time blocking actually is. Time blocking puts specific tasks into calendar slots, so your day becomes a series of planned commitments instead of a vague to-do list that grows like laundry. Think of each block as a reserved parking space for a single job. When you park there, you work only on that job. Use your digital calendar or a paper planner. Either way, you're assigning time to outcomes, not just hoping the work will happen between meetings. Start by picking the outcomes you need that day. Write 3 to 5 priority items on a sticky note or the Notes app. Then estimate how long each will take and create a matching block on your calendar. For example, 60-90 minutes for focused writing, a 30-minute block for inbox triage, 45 minutes for a client call. Add a 10-15-minute buffer after large blocks so you don't carry over chaos into the next item. Schedule blocks where your energy naturally sits. Deep work in the morning if you're sharp then, meetings when your focus dips. Batch similar tasks together. Put administrative items, emails, billing, quick approvals into one admin block rather than scattering them. That reduces context switching and makes your brain happier. Color code blocks so creative looks different from meetings at a glance. Turn off notifications during deep blocks and set a calendar reminder 5 minutes before each block to prepare. If something urgent pops up, use a short, urgent block, 15-30 minutes, rather than wrecking the whole day. Keep it realistic and flexible. Don't block every minute. Leave 1 or 2 open slots for walk-in issues or catching up. Try time blocking for one workday first. Tell a teammate or put a shared calendar note that certain blocks are protected. At the end of the day, review what slipped and move unfinished items into specific blocks the next day. Schedule a 15-minute follow-up rather than assuming you'll magically finish. Small, steady changes win here. You won't eliminate surprises, but you will stop letting them run your calendar. Why it works for busy schedules. Every task switch costs you mental energy because your brain needs time to detach from one task and gear up for the next. That attention residue slows you down, makes errors more likely, and turns a day that should feel productive into one that feels chaotic. Time blocking tackles that by grouping similar work into protected stretches, cutting down on those switches, and making the day feel more intentional. Start by treating blocks like appointments you can't break. Put the block on your calendar, give it a clear label, and set an alarm to begin and to end. For example, instead of work, create deep writing, no email, or client calls only. Batching small tasks into a single admin block means you won't bounce between email, Slack, and a spreadsheet every 10 minutes. Short, focused blocks for quick tasks, longer, uninterrupted blocks for projects that need thinking. This is how momentum builds. Use simple rules to defend those blocks. Turn off non-essential notifications during deep blocks. If you share a calendar, mark the block as busy and add a note like reply windows for 5 p.m. Communicate to colleagues or family when you'll be unavailable. If that feels awkward, practice one short script. First, I'm in a focus block until 10th. First, I'll get back to you right after. It's not rude. It's realistic. Make the system work for real life by adding buffers and flexibility. Expect interruptions and schedule short recovery windows after intense work so you can handle quick fires without derailing the whole day. Use a morning block for the hardest task when your energy is higher, then follow with a lighter administrative block so you don't crash. For parents or caregivers, anchor blocks around reliable family routines. Use the nap or school drop-off window as a predictable stretch for concentrated work. Think of your calendar like a set of raised garden beds. Clear borders keep things from spreading into each other, but you still water and adjust when weather, life changes. Review and tweak once a week. Look at which blocks you protect successfully and which ones get eaten by meetings or emergencies. Shift shorter, movable tasks into times that frequently get interrupted and reserve immovable core blocks for your highest impact work. Small, practical changes, color-coding blocks, naming them clearly, and blocking commute or transition time. Add up. Time blocking doesn't eliminate busy schedules, but it gives shape to them so progress happens even when the day is full. How to create your first time blocks. Time blocking is a scheduling method that assigns specific chunks of time to tasks instead of letting a running to-do list decide your day. Start by collecting facts about your typical week. Write down recurring meetings, commute times, family obligations, and the 2 or 3 tasks that actually move your work forward. This quick audit shows where time already goes and gives a realistic baseline before you start penciling blocks in. Take these specific actions next. Track 3 days with a simple timer or notes to see how long common tasks actually take. Then pick one calendar app or a paper planner and create just 3 blocks for your first day. 1 for focused work, 1 for unavoidable meetings or family duties, and 1 for admin or email. Keep the blocks meaningful. A single uninterrupted block for deep work, long enough to get into flow, and shorter, bounded blocks for reactive tasks. Use concrete durations you can actually stick to. If you don't know, overestimate by 25% of the first time so you don't run out of time like a phone battery at 2% of. Use clear labels and simple colors so scanning your day is instant. For example, label a block deep draft, no email rather than vague work. If you're a parent, try kid handoff plus breakfast for the morning slot and focus kids down for evening work time. If you commute, block the exact travel window and treat it like a meeting you can't miss. Put a 5 to 15-minute buffer between blocks to handle overruns and a quick reset. Think of those buffers as the little gates between fence gardens. They keep things tidy. Protect the blocks with practical defenses. Turn on Do Not Disturb for focus blocks. Mark them busy in shared calendars and announce to teammates or family that certain hours aren't for Anno Domini Hoc interruptions. Don't expect perfection. If a block breaks, note why and move on. Flexibility is not failure. At the end of the day, spend 2 minutes reviewing what took longer, what was shorter, and which blocks felt unrealistic. Adjust the next day rather than agonize over the past one. If you need a quick example plan, choose one morning focus block for your highest priority task, one midday block for meetings or routines, and one late afternoon block for admin or follow-ups. That triad covers deep work, obligations, and cleanup without cramming your whole life into a spreadsheet. Keep experimenting for a week, refine durations based on reality, and celebrate the small win of finishing a block without interruption. Small wins add up more than heroic all-day schedules that never start. Dealing with interruptions and chaos. Interruptions such as pings, drop-by questions, and household demands are the main reasons planned time blocks get hijacked. Start by accepting that you won't eliminate every interruption. Instead, control how many you let through and when. Create a simple gate. Use your calendar to mark protected focus, and pair it with phone Do Not Disturb, Slack snooze, and a clear status message. For example, set Slack to Do Not Disturb for 50 minutes, Let starred contacts bypass it, and keep the rest quiet. Keep a visible parking lot for quick requests so you don't try to do everything mid-block. Put a small notepad by your desk or a note in your task app labeled parking lot and jot down interruptions, who, what, and urgency. If someone asks for a 5-minute favor, write it down and say, first can do that at 11:15. Does that work? You get the request on record and preserve the current block. They get a clear promise, not a shrug. Build short reactive blocks into your day to contain chaos. Block 1 or 2 60-minute windows for emails, calls, and small tasks, so urgent items have a predictable place. This prevents a single surprise from cascading through every hour. If your morning is for deep work, make midday your open office and tell your team. First check messages at noon and 3:30. If it's critical, call. That simple rule reduces random interruptions by setting expectations. Use triage rules to decide what breaks your focus. Ask 3 questions quickly. Is this urgent? Is this time critical? Can someone else handle it? If the answer to 2 of them is no, defer. Say, that's important, not urgent. Can we move it to my reactive block at 2? Practice a short, polite script so you can respond without guilt or rambling. People respect clarity more than constant availability. Make resuming easier when things do break in. Keep a one-line context note at the top of each time block. Current goal, next step, and expected outcome. If interrupted, copy that line into your parking lot so you can return without replanning. Use headphones, a visible sign, or a tiny whiteboard that reads, focus until 10:30. Small signals reduce accidental intrusions. They work like a lighthouse, not a barricade, just a clear beam pointing to where you are. Negotiate interruption norms with household members and coworkers. Explain your blocks in plain terms. First, am focused until 9:30. If it's urgent, knock and say urgent once. At home, a closed door or a color card on the door can be a drama-free system. At work, agree on what constitutes an emergency so everyone knows when to ping immediately and when to wait. When chaos hits unexpectedly, use a quick reset routine. Pause for 30 seconds, breathe, decide the best immediate action. Deal now, defer to reactive block, or delegate. Then move on. That tiny pause prevents reactive anxiety and stops you from doing sloppy work. It sounds simple because it is. Your brain likes a plan, even in the middle of mayhem. Finally, keep a weekly review of how interruptions spread across your day. Note patterns, certain people, certain apps, certain times. Then take specific actions. Disable one notification, shift a meeting, or create a standing office hour. Small changes compound. You won't control everything, but you can make the chaos much less likely to eat your whole week. Tips to keep using it long-term. Long-term success with time blocking comes from turning it into small, repeatable habits rather than a one-off productivity sprint. Make it part of your weekly rhythm. Pick one low-effort planning moment, before bed, over morning coffee, or during your commute, and use it to lay out blocks for the next day. For example, spend 5 minutes each evening moving the most important 3 tasks into morning blocks and slotting meetings or routine chores into the afternoons. The goal is consistency, not perfection. Keep your system simple so you'll actually use it. Use one calendar you check regularly and color code only 2 or 3 types of blocks: focused work, meetings, and buffer/administrative time. Create calendar invites for your own blocks so they show up like any meeting. That extra step makes them harder to ignore. If a tool feels like overhead, ditch it. A paper planner with sticky notes works better than a complex app you never open. Match blocks to your energy, not to an idealized schedule. Notice when you do your best deep thinking: early morning, late evening, or a mid-afternoon sprint. And protect that time. If mornings are noisy, schedule quick decision tasks then and save deep work for when the house quiets down. A practical example: if deep work requires long stretches, try pairing a 45, 90-minute focus block with a 15-minute break afterward. If your life won't allow that, use 2 25, 30-minute blocks instead. Plan for the inevitable interruptions and missed blocks. Add a short buffer after every major block so overruns don't cascade. When a meeting or a crisis eats a block, don't abandon the plan. Reschedule the most important part that day or move it to your must-do tomorrow slot. Keep a running carryover list of tasks that get pushed. Every evening, move no more than 2 items from that list into tomorrow's blocks so it doesn't grow out of control. Review and tweak weekly with concrete metrics. Spend 10 minutes once a week asking 3 questions. Which blocks were honored, which were consistently moved, and which types of tasks got shifted most often? Then make one specific change. Shorten a block, move it to a different time, or batch those tasks differently. And test it for a week. Small experiments beat sweeping overhauls. Protect your boundaries gently but firmly. Share your calendar with housemates or coworkers and mark certain blocks as do not disturb or available only for emergencies. Use a brief status message for shared tools that explains what the block means. For instance, deep work, replies after 2 p.m. This is practical and reduces accidental interruptions without sounding rigid. Make the system sticky by linking it to existing habits and rewards. Tie a short ritual to the start of each block, a full glass of water, a 5-breath reset, or closing your office door. Celebrate small wins. Finish 3 focus blocks and allow yourself 1 guilt-free leisure activity. Keep celebrations realistic and inexpensive. The point is reinforcement, not a grand reward that never happens. Finally, be compassionate and adaptive. Life gets messy, and the calendar should reflect reality, not an idealized version of you. When blocks fail, record why. Unexpected calls, childcare, a task underestimated, and use that data to adjust future blocks instead of blaming yourself. Over time, these small, practical adjustments turn time blocking from a morning ritual into a reliable, long-term habit that respects both your goals and your busy life. Quick recap. Time blocking means putting specific tasks into named chunks on your calendar, protecting those chunks like parking spots, adding short buffers between them, reviewing what worked each week, and starting small so it actually sticks. Try this tonight. Open your calendar and create 3 blocks for tomorrow. A 90-minute deep work block in the morning, a 30-minute lunch break, and a 60-minute admin block in the afternoon. Set a timer, turn off unnecessary notifications during deep work, and keep a parking lot note for interruptions so you don't lose your flow. Add a 15-minute buffer between blocks for transitions. Color code the blocks so your day looks like a simple traffic map. First, get it. You're juggling real life, not a productivity experiment. Time blocking won't make everything perfect, but it will give you a clearer map. Think of your calendar as a plate with labeled sections. You're not restricting food, you're just making sure the important pieces fit. If this helped, try 1 week and drop 1 sentence in the comments about what changed. First, read them. Subscribe if you want simple templates, a walkthrough of batching tasks, and an episode on handling constant interruptions. Small steps beat perfect plans. You've got this, 1 block at a time.